If you knew you were enough, what would your life look like? What would love look like? This is the Enough Factor broadcast, where we're redefining what makes you enough in life and in love. Now here's your host, Suzette Birnall. Hello everybody, it's your girl Suzette Birnall, your life coach and your relationship solutionist, and welcome to my Enough Factor podcast. Today marks the end of season 2, and I thank those of you who have hung in here with me throughout season 1 and season 2. Without you, I would not have the motivation and the inspiration to keep speaking. If this is your first time, a hearty welcome. What I want you to know about this podcast is it's pretty simple. It's about redefining what makes you enough in life and in love on your own terms. And the way that we endeavor to do that is to amplify your voice, your value, and your vision. And so over these last 3 episodes where I've been the one talking to you, no guests in tow, I have endeavored to end this season by talking about topics that really typify or focus on your voice, your value. And today, the focus is your vision. Honestly, today is a difficult one because I got news that Chadwick Boseman, most well known as T'Challa from the Marvel movie The Black Panther, died after a 4-year fight with colon cancer. He fought in private, so we are all collectively reeling from the news. It was a gut punch, and I still feel it. I've been teary, I've been crying, I've been emotional, and I decided to focus all that emotion into something productive. And so I decided to let my feelings about Chadwick and my looking back on YouTube at his interviews, let them speak to vision. The way I'm going to start it off is by reading to you my post from Saturday morning. It was one where he and the cast from the Black Panther were being interviewed. He was asked the question, do you think this, meaning Black Panther, changed the film industry? Do you think it changed the way the industry sees you, meaning the black cast? For you that might not know, Black Panther had a predominantly black cast, with the exception of one of the villains and one of the agents. But for the most part, it was definitely a black cast that reached back into African roots and in its own way dealt with racial disparity in our country and the death blow that disparity has had on how our youth define themselves and some of the struggles that they face. And so I posted this. Bear with me as I read it. In answer to that question, do you think this changed the industry? Do you think it changed the way the industry sees you? Chadwick Boseman answered it in a way that I felt was absolutely brilliant. 3 words: young, gifted, and Black. I believe we are at a moment in history where that question is voraciously requiring an answer. The industry is the world. The underlying question behind the question, however, is, are you enough? Was what you did, you Chadwick and the Black actors, is what you did with this film enough to change an industry that has marginalized you and your contribution for centuries? Sound familiar? And though the asker probably wasn't conscious of it, he or she saw the industry as the definer. If you can change the opinion of the industry, then you have been successful. But listen to Chadwick's answer. This is what I hear so brilliantly and so prophetically that speaks to the divinity of this moment. To be young, gifted, and Black. The industry, aka the world, does not define us. Matter of fact, it's not our concern. It's not what's most important. It's being who you are. We are young, gifted, and Black. It was endowed upon us by our Creator. You see, this cast wasn't concerned about impressing the industry or winning the industry's approval. They knew they were doing something great by bringing themselves to this collaboration. It's not a question that we're asking of the world. It's a question the world is asking of us. It's begging us to stop hiding behind definitions put on us from 401 years ago. It's begging us to stop asking permission. It's begging us to stand up, speak out, and be the good trouble that John Lewis talks about and that we were meant to be. It's begging us to hold America accountable to deliver on its promise. It's begging us to take our rightful place at the table, our rightful place in this moment. When someone else is sitting on your throne, you have to fight to remove them. When someone else is trying to impose their label, stereotype, or definition on you, you have to reject it. Why? Because you are young, gifted, and Black. It's not up to the world. You don't need the world's permission. You don't need the world's approval. It's up to us to be who we are. We are young, gifted, and Black. Like the movie Black Panther, like it poignantly depicts. Just because Killmonger handed T'Challa his butt, demeaned him, threw him over a cliff, and left him for dead, T'Challa's destiny could not be erased. He was the king. Black people, yes, I'm talking to you. Our destiny cannot be erased, but we've got to fight for it. Can we stand fully owning the divinity in us? Can we meet this moment powerfully and let that power write its own definition? Can we do this? My answer, that's the only way. You see, the cast of young, gifted, and Black actors in the Black Panther never sought to change the world. They only sought to be their best selves. They only sought to bring their young, gifted, and Black selves to this collective endeavor. Being who you are in all your light is being required by this moment. Our destiny as a collective people is requiring it. Our destiny as the collective human race of Black, brown, red, yellow, and white in color is requiring it. No one is different. We are all the same. We are Beyonce and we are Breonna Taylor. We are Michelle Obama and we are the South Side of Chicago. We are one nation. We are a human nation with different skin colors. We are being required to meet this moment. The question is, will you stand? Will you stand as you are, young, gifted, and Black? And yes, at 60 years old, I consider myself young. Yes, yes, I am gifted and Black. So will you stand in your power and refuse to accept anybody else's definition? Hashtag rest in power, Chadwick. You didn't let your cancer diagnosis define you. And we can't let the cancer of inequality define us. That's the end of my post. Vision. Vision defined is the ability to think about or plan the future with imagination or wisdom. Vision is both aspirational and inspirational. As a woman of color, I aspire to a world where the content of my character is more important than the color of my skin. In these challenging times, our collective consciousness is being called upon to reimagine our global connection with the world, our neighbors, our most intimate relationships, reimagining our healthcare system and response to deadly viruses and diseases, reimagining work and the role of corporations, small businesses, entrepreneurs, sole proprietors, reimagining our reliance on other countries for aid and for trade. In short, we are having to reimagine our total way of living. But that is only aspirational as long as we only think about it. Aspiration has to answer the call of inspiration, a more personal vision of responsibility, how I can help bring what's being reimagined to fruition. Aspiration makes me dream, desire. Inspiration makes me move, involve myself in manifesting it. Look, I know it's hard. is hard for all of us. Racial tensions, economic tensions, health tensions, and the roller coaster ride of all of it is so overwhelming. At times, we can hardly breathe. And so you have to have a greater vision for yourself and for this moment. That's why for me, communion has become my vision. I used to work first and rest second. Now I'm having to revision. I'm having to rest first and work second. I'm having to incorporate in my life self-care as a priority. For me, that's fresh air, getting out in nature, taking long, indulging walks, not walking necessarily to make my heart rate go up, but those walks where you breathe in fully the beauty that's around you, where you listen to the laughter of little kids giggling, not having any idea of what we grown folks are facing every day. It's unplugging from social media and the news when I feel overwhelmed. It's telling the truth about how I feel and what I need. It's giving that to myself, praying, meditating, sitting with myself, by myself, in myself, simplifying my life that way, finding a higher purpose in this moment. Because this is the truth, y'all. When the house is on fire, it's not the time to take a vacation. When your house is on fire, your first priority is to put out the fire. All hands on deck. Don't give me your opinions if you're not going to pass me a bucket of water to throw on the fire. And we as a collective have to attend to this collective fire that we find ourselves in. That is the priority of the moment. And I have no problem, no judgment of what that looks like for you, as long as it doesn't embolden or throw gas on the flames. Hate throws gas on the flames. And yes, complacency throws gas on the flames. I've sat and I thought about it. I said, how did we get here? And I really do believe it's because of hate and complacency. Hate has been emboldened. And for so many, so has complacency. Rather than pass a bucket of water or call the fire department because our house is on fire, we have used escapism as our drug of choice. If we can busy ourselves enough, if we can cover our ears, close our eyes, and shake our heads, maybe, just maybe, we don't have to face this moment. But I believe we all have a responsibility as a collective humanity to open our eyes and to seek to meet this moment, to tap into the divinity, our divine isness, and to align that with purpose. I believe and have experienced that when I aspire to meet the moment, the inspiration comes, and I know what is required of me. Sometimes it's activism. Sometimes it's calling a thing. Sometimes it's telling the unvarnished truth. Other times it's encouraging. It's encouraging you to hang in there. It's encouraging you to own your feelings. It's encouraging you that being vulnerable is healthy, not weak. And sometimes it's neither. Sometimes I have to disconnect and make my self-care a priority. My goal, regardless, is to be ready to be used in whatever capacity this moment requires. That's my vision as I bring season 2 to a close. I hope that helps. Thank you to all the guests. Thank you to all those who've listened, who've commented. Thanks to all of you who have followed and subscribed and left reviews. Thanks to all of you. Until season 3, I invite you to follow me on social media. My favorite watering holes are Instagram and Facebook. I also invite you to become a part of my mailing list. There, you'll get updates of what I'm doing and events I'm hosting or participating in. Until we meet again in this space, I want you to remember and to hold this as your vision. You are worthy. You are worth it. You are more than enough. You have just listened to the Enough Factor podcast with your host, Suzette Vernon. To get notified of new episodes or to dig deeper into today's topic, become a subscriber. And while you're at it, tell us how we're doing and what topics you're interested in. We appreciate your feedback and your reviews. Until next time, remember, you are worthy, you are worth it, you are enough.